Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, everyone? What's going on, Chip? Tell you what's going on. They want crypto to go to zero, not just XRP. They want the entire market, maybe not Bitcoin. They want everything else to zero. They, mark my words, it's the they. And here's a
They,
big question, Chip.
pronouns they.
Is the XRPL centralized?
I'm gonna go with no.
We're
Negative.
supposed to drag that one out a little bit. Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Came up with an interesting theme. Crypto to zero. They want it that way.
They're pushing for. They don't like it unless they can figure out to tax it 90%. Then they might have a chance.
Then they're
So
gonna
you're
love it.
saying there's a chance, then, Jeff.
We're saying there's a chance.
All
The
right.
they, and the they. So we're gonna
theys.
get into it. We've got a lot of other things to dig into. Lots of it. Plus, today's Wednesday. Apparently, Friday night, there's a huge party going on in New York City. Don't know
Apparently,
anything
Jeff.
about it. Apparently, there's this massive party celebrating XRP. It's a proper like party. Might even
Is
be
it?
called the proper party.
The proper party. And then
And-
everybody else is celebrating the pauper party because we're all poor because the XRP hasn't mooned yet. All right.
Now, the interesting
like
thing
that, Jeff.
is that when we tune in here on Saturday, I might be solo. Is that
Possibly.
possible?
I don't know.
So-
I don't see why you would be.
I don't know. Don't
Yeah,
know.
you'll be everything will be cool, dude.
Everything's cool? Okay,
It's
good.
all good. I think we should get this show underway. Where is everybody?
Ready to
Damn
kick
it?
this thing
26
off?
people? Oh, we're not on for 2 shows and for a week and everybody's abandoned us?
Everybody abandoned us.
Thank you and good night. All right, here we go.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.
What the heck was that?
I don't know, man. It was just like,
Did you realize you played the outro?
let's try it again.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Oh,
Jeff, I did say good night. I was like, let's go.
thank
26
you, Ann.
people.
Good night.
There's 26 people. See you later. It was a great show. Enjoyed it. Thanks.
That was a great show. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about how they want to end crypto. And we got all that stuff. El Jefe never got tickets, always sold out, wouldn't give New York a cent. Anyway,
New York. Don't worry. We'll end up having a party down here. So don't
New
worry.
York.
Jungle Inc. in the
Jungle Inc.
house.
XRP
Come on,
centralized. Get David in here. I want to debate.
David. I'm trying to get David in here. If you have Pork and Beans podcast, the broadcast
You
of
have a way
7
to get him
people.
here.
Jeff, so I see he goes
be
on like
awesome.
Bitcoin. He goes on like Bitcoin broadcast. He was just on a Bitcoin broadcast. And I saw he was on another broadcast, had 200 subscribers, which is like a few more close to what we have here, and he still won't do the show. I've asked him 5,000 times. Jungle, I'm going to send you a link. Let's get
5,001.
Jungle in here.
It'd be great to have Jungle in here. If Jungle would come in, let's debate him because as Bitcoin maxis,
Let's get Jungle in here.
It'd be good to have
What do you say,
someone that's
Jungle? You want to come in here? I'll
supports the
send you a link. I'll DM you a link. You want to come join us?
Bring
on,
Jungle in here if he's willing to come in to debate the whole XRP is centralized thing. I mean, XRP.
Debate that. He already knows the answer to that. He's like, hey man, I just came by for a second. But anyway, today, so there was a financial services hearing, and they dragged Gary Daddy G Gensler into the hearing, and what a debacle that was! What an absolute!
He's such a winner. He's such a winner. He's such a winner.
He's a winner. He's a winner, Jeff. He likes to win.
He loves to win.
But you know what? I think the best testimony, I guess the best questioning, Warren Davidson, of course, you can always bank on that. Had Byron Donalds
Crushed
He
him.
was phenomenal. He one-upped it from the last time, Jeff. Like the last time he was on, last time he interviewed him, he was like, yeah, yes, Gensler. He's like, yeah, wait a minute. Before we go, weren't you the CFO for the Hillary campaign? He's like, and did you pay for the dossier?
No.
He's like, he goes, you're under oath,
No.
sir. And then Gary's like, sir.
Sir.
You know, that's how like his stature and everything. He's all like, you know, crumbled up here like a little nutter. I don't know what's going on with that guy. He's driving. When he gets home, we'll jump on. All right, good. Ping us when you're ready, Jungle. I'll send you the link. Actually, I'll send it to now. I'll send it to you now.
Send it to him now. See that, Chip? This was the thumbnail tonight. There was so much meaning to the thumbnail.
Crypto is here. You see the Gensler picture in the background? That's
Did you see that? How
phenomenal.
great is that with his frame? And that's his banker pal over there, straightening
Yeah.
his tie, getting ready to this is the they. And there you go.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to just destroy crypto.
Big arrow there means it's going down, or read the title below this whole thumbnail. They want it at 0. All right, so do we have a video with the G-Man? I love watching videos with Gary Gensler because the guy is so motivational. He's so uplifting. He's always got so many great things to say. His voice has like such resonance and so much power and authority to it that anybody who succumbs to it is just kind of like, hey, this is amazing.
Do you remember before he was all like brash and like, come on in and register? And ever since
like a meek mouse.
Yeah, he's like, I think, and he's just, and that last time he was being interviewed like in a stairwell, that was pretty funny. Remember that? That was like so bizarre. It was like, and he was like choosing his words carefully.
Oh, yeah, every little last,
every syllable was like all thought out and talked.
Letter.
And you know who else was good today too, Jeff? You know who wasn't good? The former chair of the Financial Services Committee. You know her, you love her. Auntie Maxine was a disaster.
Was she on? She was there?
She was, and unfortunately, she just launched right into the shutdown. Now, what's fun about the shutdown is that like 96% of the SEC will be furloughed, which means they won't be going after anybody. And what most people don't realize is we don't need the government. Like if you shut the government down and you leave it shut down for a month and nobody notices, and then it ends up being 6 months and nobody notices, and people are like, things are starting to improve. Like I worry about the administration. I'm like, I would be better if to me, I'd feel better and sleep better at night if you did nothing. That would be better. If you try to fix stuff, you break it, you make it 10 times worse, like trying to do stuff and enact stuff, then building back better and greater and all this stuff. It just turns into a disaster. I don't need you building anything. Just
how did that work out for them? Build back better. I mean,
I don't know. It was like a global phrase. I think it was the WEF or something. I don't know where that came from. It was just, but it doesn't even make any sense, Jeff. It's just
it made no sense. It was easy for him to say build back better because then you can't forget it, and they built it back so much worse.
They didn't even build it at all. It's like they just take it, destroyed it. They just rolled the steam tanks through it.
Imagine you're handed a pot of gold, right? And they say all you have to do is just hold this pot of gold. Do nothing else. It's going to maintain its value. And, but there's a little lever on the bottom that you can open up and the gold will start pouring out. So here they are. They're like, here, have this pot of gold. Just don't open the little thing at the bottom that pours all your gold out. And they're holding it and they're like, you know what would make this pot of gold better is if we open this little lever here.
Right. You know what? Kelly's right. Look at this. The ESG. That ESG stuff has nothing to do with the SEC. Has nothing to do with anything.
Oh, yeah.
It's a complete shakedown of business. And so if you get this mark, and if you look at, it reminds me of the who's on the security committee for the United Nations. It's all the countries that the worst possible countries you can imagine are this on the Security Council. Okay, so it's like the same with everything else that goes on in government. We don't need government. It's just an absolute Bitcom. Yeah, that was the whole thing. Bitcom with Auntie Maxine. It was really just ridiculous. Jim D says increased inflation rates and interest rates to fix inflation. The Fed is blowing up our national debt with $1 trillion extra debt per year on interest.
It's not, yeah.
Audit the Fed, man.
On
The
interest.
Fed's going away. They don't know it yet. All things are about to change, and they're just going to be. But let's watch this. This is Warren Davidson, and watch his questioning of Gensler here. This is good. Here we go.
Time as chairman
G-Man
has highlighted two problems: a Gary Gensler problem and a structural flaw in the SEC. And as I told you in April, I've proposed a solution called the SEC Stabilization Act.
Which gets rid of Gensler.
You're making the case for this bill easier every day you are acting as the chairman by doing rulemaking after rulemaking without any regard to the impact of these rules, or maybe that's the feature for you, I don't know. But it's having a massive impact on our markets. I mean, we have markets that truly are the envy of the world, and why would you disrupt them with processes that are driving capital out of our markets? Not because to avoid our laws, but to find some place where they can get clarity, where they can work with a regulator and get a decision in a path forward. So instead of selectively applied, you are you're not providing clarity with a rule that's evenly applied. You're intentionally shortening comment periods to limit feedback. And the courts have even called this arbitrary and capricious. You're pushing a woke political and social agenda, and I think abusing your role and the authority of the SEC as cover. So, I think fundamentally, the SEC Stabilization Act would remove the role of chairman. It would preserve the current commissioners, but it would add a sixth commissioner. So there would be no more than 3 from any one political party. And so that would provide a path that would make the SEC do what you're avoiding. Frankly, you're front-running Congress, you're front-running the courts, you're front-running even the own administration, and no one has held you to account for that. I mean, I wish the Biden administration would say you're fired, but the list of folks they need to do that for is long. Congress hopefully will with the SEC Stabilization Act. I yield.
Gentleman's time's expired.
That puts everything clearly into perspective as it comes to Gary Gensler, and Warren Davidson couldn't have said it any better. I thought that was, spot on. It just crushed him, just annihilated him. Gary Gensler is an unelected bureaucrat that has rained chaos and turmoil over our financial markets. Turmoil. The guy is a loose cannon. We have that article on a tweet from John Deaton referencing the whole library thing and the debacle that was, all the millions of dollars spent for what was it, $100,000 penalty fine they had to pay, like something. Yeah, millions of dollars spent that could be invested in this economy. Millions. Imagine if Gary Gensler would, just be removed from the scene ship, just taken out of the equation. Elizabeth Warren taken out of the equation, shut them down, and allow cryptocurrency to flourish in this market. Could you imagine where we'd be right now if the past 2, 3, 4 years haven't been so oppressive, by some of these, individuals that are in this regime? You think about Maxine Waters and the Financial Services Committee that for years wouldn't even allow the Token Taxonomy Act to be heard. No, it didn't even reach the floor in the committee to have a discussion over it. It just died in committee. And these people want to destroy and crush cryptocurrency. They want to destroy and crush your individual liberties and your dreams. That's how horrible these people are, while they enrich themselves and enslave you. It's the worst thing that we've seen. It's amazing. Up to Canada, and you see the chaos that's ensued in the Canadian Parliament, and the speaker there just stepped down, and saved Trudeau, threw their guy under the bus as these guys embraced a former Nazi. A
former Nazi from a prison camp. I mean, they're glorifying this guy, and it's like so now they're trying to extradite him.
Center stage. What's that?
Did you see that? They're extraditing him.
Oh, of course they're extraditing. Where are they going to extradite with?
But even Trudeau gets up there and tries to cover.
This.
They guys are trying to cover for this guy. I'm like, come on, man. What is wrong with these people? I mean, I mean, there's a long list. The best thing
There's
that
a-
Warren Davidson said there, he goes, I wish the Biden administration would fire you, but my God, there's a long list of people they
Right.
need to fire, right? So it's
and
like,
and it's true. Oh my
it's
God,
true.
it's
Oh yeah, it's true. I mean, so because of the diversity hires and this hire and that hire, you have a press secretary that's one of the dumbest humans on the planet. You ask a basic question, you can't even get a basic answer. It's like just complete lies. Like, well, excuse me, but how's the border coming? The border's secure. She could show the videos of flooding over the
I know, it's
border.
awesome. It's awesome.
And the best part I love about this, speaking of New York, Jeff, is they're going to spend $3 billion over the next couple of years, $3 billion of tax money. A bunch of residents went ahead and got in front of the buses. They were trying to block the buses from entering, bringing in, people that just kind of came across the border. And they were arrested, Jeff. Not the people that came in, their doors open. I just say this to people, I'm like, do you keep your doors unlocked at night? They're like, no. I'm like, well, why would we do that in our country? What makes a country, Jeff? Culture, language, borders. Okay. Culture, I go to France because I want to enjoy the French culture. I don't want to enjoy culture that's been imported from another country. I don't care. If I want to go visit your culture, I'll do that. But if I want to go to Italy and I want to enjoy Italy, I don't want to visit an island that's been overrun where now they have more visitors than people who live there. So it's a way to just crush every country and crush every nation. I go to Australia. I want to enjoy the Australian culture. I want to enjoy. I don't want to. It's just getting to the point of where it's getting pathetic. But listen, when you vote for it, God, I just hope you enjoy it. I hope it crushes every brain cell you have left in your head because you voted for it, and you'll continue to vote for it. But you'll have a straw man that'll be like, I can't believe that so and so. No, not so and so. Take the finger and point it right to you because you voted for it. You deserve it. And guess what? If you're a 95-year-old ex-military, you get kicked out of a nursing home. You want to know why? They got to make room for somebody who just crossed the border. It's just, to me, this is
Not
where we
legal.
are as a country and a government.
Not legally, illegally.
Yeah,
And
illegal.
so allow all of that to take place while they're trying to destroy and crush your opportunities, your economic opportunities that are decentralized and fully. If you want to look at democratized, we want democratized money. They can use it any way they want, but let's look at decentralized money and take out the hands of the manipulators and let
Yes.
the market speak for themselves. And now you have, true liberty. Let's put voting on the blockchain. Let's put all of this on the blockchain. Let's put our fiscal, our budgets on the blockchain. Allow, everybody to have full transparency to what's really happening. It changes the whole outcome and dynamics of things. And that's the direction that we have to go. But they want to try to centralize it with their central bank digital currencies and all of that. But what happened today with Gary Gensler sitting in front of Congress, all of this is kind of coming, full, just full,
Well,
complete nut jobs over there.
El Jefe, we got the Richie Torres video. These are only excerpts. We don't have the whole thing, but this is an excerpt. I want to give a shout out to Wheezy for posting all these. I don't know. He's got a weird handle, but Wheezy is pretty famous on X over there. But I hope Torres comes out and hammers against those amounts. Okay, so let's play Richie Torres, who is a blue team member. I don't think he's very popular in his party, Jeff, when he comes out talking like this and talking about crypto and talking about it. Just seems like he's counter. And when we had Warren Davidson on, he said they're not trying to eliminate crypto. They're trying to kill crypto. They're trying to destroy it. And he was saying that he knows a bunch of people on the red team who are no different from the blue team members. So, but let's listen to Richie Torres. Let's hear what he had to say against there today.
Crypto, your interpretation of the term investment contract has no limiting principle and therefore could invite arbitrary and capricious enforcement action. So I want to take a few minutes to explore the concept of investment contract in greater depth. And I want to start with an obvious definitional question. We know that an investment contract requires an investment. Does an investment contract require a contract?
Okay. Now, the question itself, does it involve a contract? What do you think Gensler's going to say, Jeff?
Hopefully he says yes, but he's probably not.
Let's listen. Gensler has a really difficult time answering questions. There's all like, yeah, it's a pretty simple question. The definition of an investment contract. Does it involve a contract?
Yeah. Where are we at? Well, let's see. At MIT.
Sir, so all right, let's listen. It sounds like a pretty simple question, Jeff. Let's see what
very simple question. Let's see what direction he goes in.
Let's see what he goes.
How does he devolve it?
You know, something about this definition, I will quote Thurgood Marshall, Congress painted with a broad brush. And when Marshall said that,
first of all, do not let me even start going off on Thurgood Marshall. The left props Thurgood Marshall up as if it was like the second coming, okay? Thurgood Marshall, Congress paints with a broad brush. You know why they paint with a broad brush? They don't want it coming back to them. They paint it with an open to interpretation. So guys like Gensler can go in there, and it's a broad brush, which means, and what he's basically saying is it's a broad brush. So what does that mean? That means he can come in and interpret what it means, even though there's no clarity on what it means. Thurgood Marshall.
There's no clarity in what Gary just said.
There never is, though, Jeff. There really is never any.
What the?
He goes into a Thurgood Marshall said Congress paints with a broad brush. Listen, man, you know, the EPA tried to do that, that broad brush approach too. And they said, well, there's nothing in there that covers, you know, climate. There's nothing in there what broad brush did Congress paint that allows ESG and disclosure? And he said, oh, don't worry, the people want this. What people want this? Nobody wants it.
Congress painted with a broad brush. And when Marshall said that, he was writing the law of the land. So we follow this Howey test and how not just Marshall, but other courts interpreted it. And it has a four components.
I did not go to MIT, but in the Bronx, if I ask whether an investment contract includes a contract, the answer is typically yes or no. So
Richie Torres doesn't put up with any bullshit. Richie Torres is not putting up with any bullshit. I didn't go to MIT, okay? It just totally takes him out of the MIT comment. Then he comes right back there, like in the Bronx, you typically ask somebody a yes or no question, you get a yes or no.
No, not. Yeah,
Richie Torres is ready to jump over there and just go smash and hammer him right in the face. Look at this.
It's amazing.
He's not happy. Right. Here we go.
Well, actually, sir, under the Supreme Court law of the land, they do not write that in. They say it's an investment of money in a common enterprise. You're anticipating profits based on the efforts of others. So I took an oath to follow the law of the land, and that's the Supreme Court law of the land.
So in Howey, the Supreme Court refers to an investment contract as a contract, scheme, or transaction. That was the terminology that I saw in the case. And as far as I can tell, there's nothing in the Supreme Court's jurisprudence that suggests that a scheme or transaction means the absence of a contract. And so by way of illustration, you know, consider the landmark case of SEC versus Howey. In the Howey case, there was not a single contract, but there were two contracts. A land sales contract with the Howey Company and a service contract with Howey in the Hills. And the court found that the combination of those two contracts, the total scheme, the total transaction, the total economic reality, was constitutive of an investment contract. And so a scheme or a transaction does not mean the absence of any contract at all. It means, as it did in Howey, a multiplicity of contracts. In August, there were 6 law professors from law schools as preeminent as Yale who came to the following conclusion, quote, no decision of the Supreme Court has ever found that a scheme that does not involve a contract could qualify as an investment contract. And so do you disagree with that statement? And if so, could you please cite a decision of the Supreme Court that has found an investment contract in the absence of an actual contract?
The SEC has been in front of multiple courts, and investment contract has been...
What's the name of the case, Mr. Gensler? The Supreme Court case that has found an investment contract in the absence of an actual contract. Do you have the name? Can you cite a case?
The SEC over the decades, whether it's
Can you cite a case?
Whether it's whiskey caskets, whether it's crypto, the public is investing based upon the efforts of others.
I find it telling that you cannot cite a single case.
That's a security.
Not a single. How about a Second Circuit case? Can you cite a single Second Circuit case that found an investment contract in the absence of a
I
contract.
understand where you're trying to go, and I'm going to leave that to the very fine attorneys at the SEC in front of
You're
the
the one.
courts. But I'm
He's not
saying
an
the
attorney.
core principle
Mr. Gensler,
is, this is a field.
This is
that
let me finish. Let me finish. This is a question to which you should know the answer, because the definition of an investment contract is the central issue. That's what determines the extent of your authority. That's what determines the applicability of federal securities law to crypto transactions. And your inability to answer that question is baffling to me.
I'm answering it consistent with what the Supreme Court has said, which is the law of the land is a 4-part test.
And yet you cannot cite a single case to support your argument.
Howie, it's called Reeves. It's called many cases at the Supreme Court, sir. 8 or 9 times it's been affirmed by the Supreme
Can I ask, suppose I were to purchase a Pokemon card. Would doing so constitute a security transaction?
You could purchase a Pokemon card. I don't know what the context is, but if you're just purchasing a Pokemon card.
If I purchase a Pokemon card, is that a security
retail
transaction?
Store, that's not a security.
Okay. If I were to purchase a tokenized Pokemon card on a digital exchange via a blockchain, is that a security transaction?
I'd have to know more.
So for you, the process of tokenization is what transforms a non-security
said it.
transaction into a security transaction?
Look, if the investing
I thought you were
public-
technology neutral.
If the investing public is anticipating profits based upon the efforts of others and they're exchanging funds, that's the core.
I see my time has expired, so.
So
Worry that when it comes to
Richie Torres took him to the woodshed and destroyed him.
he destroyed him, and the guy he's consistently wrong. You know, that's a
Consistently
big.
wrong, Jeff.
Oh, look at this, my shirt's going invisible.
What's going on?
Notice that?
I noticed
Look at that.
something. Thought you came down with some kind of a virus or something. I don't know what was going on there. Some weird stuff is going on. I don't know what's
I might
happening.
have to change my shirt. I might have to step out and change my shirt.
Look at this. El Happy said he's making Gensler look like a total tart. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That he
It's
is.
an investment contract based on the efforts of others. And then, okay, dude, does that what it's always like when they set him up with the question? You know who does that a lot is Kennedy. You know, he'll always ask you the question that he knows the answer to, and then he'll take you to task.
Yeah. So Chip, this is a simple definition from Investopedia, right? So here, the opinion of the Supreme Court stated that an investment contract for the purposes of Securities Act means a contract, transaction, or scheme whereby a person invests money in a common enterprise and is led to expect profit solely from the efforts of the promoter or a third party. It's a contract.
Yeah, well,
and a contract. So if we go and look for the definition of a contract, the contract is between two parties, and it's mutually agreed on. You know that there's going to be then I'm entering in this contract with you, and then there's the 4 criteria, right? An investment of money. I have to give you money in the common enterprise that you're participating in. I expect that you're going to pay me profits from your efforts, and that's it. And those are the prongs.
Right, but that's a security, and it's like so almost no digital assets. And we even look at the Torres case where XRP was found to not be a security
enterprise.
Yeah, one of the things we found out was that the sale of XRP directly to somebody, there was an investment contract. There was a contract to purchase a certain amount of XRP at a certain rate. Okay, so that's where people are like, well, sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. Yeah, when there's an investment contract involved. But what Torres brilliantly had really surfaced was the whole idea that if you buy it on exchange, you don't know if you're buying it from Ripple. You don't know if you're buying it from one of us. You don't know where it's being sourced. You don't even know it's sitting on the exchange somewhere. So it's a blind bid. You don't know where it's coming from. Whereas if you know you're purchasing it directly, so in the way that it could be called a security. But Gensler really was inept today. He was not prepared at all, and he should have been, because he got his ass handed to him last one, but this one was epic.
You would think, Comex rule is saying Americans better wake up ASAP. And that's exactly, we've got we have a short runway now. We have a year, and then that's it. It's time to remove these unelected bureaucrats, but it starts at the top. You got to make major significant changes across the board.
Yeah. Jeff, this right here is the best of all, right? So Byron Donalds, last time he went in there, I was talking to Gary. So he just one-upped it a little bit. So this one was really fantastic. What I love about it too is it echoes a lot of the stuff that's been dug up by people, researchers in the community like Wheezy and some other folks, John Deaton and some other folks out there that have dug up this stuff that you can see that he's probably reading or paying attention to, right? So it's pretty good. Might have to hit the sneeze button. Hang on. Hang on. Maybe. No. Maybe later. It's weird when you feel like you're going to sneeze, but you don't sneeze, but you kind of feel like you're going to sneeze.
You know,
well, let's listen into
our Byron Donalds. How come we don't have, what happened to our podcast? The Byron Donalds interview didn't make it to our website. It's like it's just gone. Just disappeared.
I don't know. Maybe we never put it up. Don't know. But I do have a clip. If you want to play the clip, we can play the clip. I do have a clip that was posted.
Yeah, if we could. I was going to mention that, you know, you can go onto our website and search it up, and you'd see Byron Donalds on our website. And somehow I even sent them the link to it. Everything, and it just mysteriously disappeared from the website. Hopefully, it's still on YouTube. We'll have to check and make sure it went live.
It's still on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's definitely on YouTube. I don't know.
Definitely on YouTube, and then you can also go and check out Warren Davidson. If you ever said, hey, I wonder about Warren Davidson, well, you can go check him out on the website. We also had Tom Emmer on the website, so you can go check out a whole bunch of good guys over there. Go check out onthechain.io. You go over here, you can subscribe, and then you get these great emails when we're done with the show. It's a great place to go visit. Go check out the interviews and previous shows.
Yeah. So let's listen in to Byron Donalds, because this is, I think everyone's going to enjoy this little bit. Here we go.
Story be entered into the record.
Without objection.
The story notes that you met with Senator Tammy Baldwin in May about the SEC's proposal related to the 13D beneficial ownership disclosure, at which time you allegedly asked Senator Baldwin's staff, allegedly, to contact an organization called We the Investors to submit comment letters in favor of the 13D proposal. Subsequently, the SEC was flooded with 350 plus comment letters from so-called individuals, but mostly form letters stamped with the moniker We the Investors in favor of their proposal. It appears to me that you have engaged in astroturfing to advance your own agenda. Is this true? If this is true, is this a serious breach of impartiality that would violate the spirit, if not the letter of the law of the APA?
Sure, again, I don't know what the press is talking about. I remember a meeting with the senator. It was a good thought.
Did you meet with Senator Baldwin in May with respect to 13D?
I think that it's on my public calendar that I met with Senator Baldwin. I meet with senators and representatives.
Okay, so here's what I need to get from your public calendar if you actually met with Senator Baldwin. I think the committee would like to know that. In this meeting with Senator Baldwin's staff, did you speak to an organization called We the Investors?
I have no memory of that.
Mr. Gensler, the no memory routine from a lot of appointees is really getting old. You guys are discussing and leading some of the various regulations facing our economy. So to come before a committee of Congress and have no idea what you talked to with a senator's staff about 13D?
The meeting was with the senator, sir.
All right, well then, if you don't recall what you said to a United States senator about key issues facing our economy from a regulatory basis,
please, sir,
that's a real problem, don't you think?
You're a good questioner, but please, sir, that
Sir.
story is
so
not
weak.
one that I would confirm. It's not a story that I believe is accurate.
Let me ask you a question, broad base. Do you think it's appropriate for the chairman of the SEC, or frankly the head of any agency, to engage with outside groups to accomplish the agenda they want to see through rulemaking?
We are responsible under the Administrative Procedure Act to hear from outside parties, market participants, constituents in your district, members of Congress.
No, that's not my question. We want to hear from outside groups.
We're
Is it okay to foment outside groups to help you accomplish what you want to see?
Gentleman's time's expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, hang on a second. I thought I grabbed another clip, but there were so many of the clips. But anyway, I do have it here. I'm going to share this because there was better stuff that he even got to. But just the whole thing was like that. He hammered him. Hammered him nonstop.
It's completely mind-boggling, you know, to see, And then he's getting angry over it. He's getting angry over being questioned.
Sir, I don't know about that. He's saying the story didn't happen, but he doesn't say what did happen, right? So which means it's a bunch of bull and he's lying through his teeth is what it sounds like to me. Can't be 100% sure, but
A bunch of BS.
yeah, that was a little bit insane. So let's go to the big Jumbotron here, and let me share this. Jeff, tell me if you hear this or not. Here we go. Let me make sure the volume is up. Hang on. There you go.
Can't hear it.
Chairman Gensler, welcome back. Hey, do you remember where we left off, you and I?
I do. You're a very good questioner, sir.
All right, well, let me refresh. Let's bring some things up. Where we left off was, did you facilitate the payment for the Steele dossier for the Hillary Clinton campaign back in 2016? Because you were the CFO. You acknowledged that. You also said, in response to my question, that this payment was not something that I was aware of, quote unquote. Those are your words. Interesting things have occurred since then.
Yes, they have.
John Podesta actually testified to a committee of Congress, and John Podesta testified to a question about, was Gary, meaning you, was he day-to-day, hands-on, signing every check? And so John Podesta testifies, actually he was under a deposition with a committee here in Congress. He says, yes, I don't know if he signed the checks, but he was there every day, meaning you. So let's circle back. Were you aware of the fact that the Hillary Clinton campaign actually paid for the Steele dossier, which unleashed one of the worst issues of intelligence malfeasance that our nation has ever seen?
No, sir, I answered this 6 months ago, and this is the same answer today. No.
You weren't aware of what was going on? Mr. Gensler, I find that very interesting because, if I listen to some of the people and the staff that have left the SEC, you're very aware of everything that is going on. It's actually your MO. You're very hands-on. So you're going to tell the committee right now, you had no idea that the Hillary Clinton campaign, of which you were the CFO on, sent money to Perkins Coie for a dossier that was phony, that led to the spying on of a presidential campaign in 2016. You were not aware of any of this?
Sir, as a chief financial officer in a political campaign, I was not aware of what a law firm was doing with some of the monies that they got.
Now, I find that interesting because in some of your other rhetoric about CFOs in the public sector, the private sector of our economy, you are very tough on CFOs. You've said on the record on many occasions that CFOs have a fiduciary responsibility to the organizations that they cover, that they should be aware of everything that is going on. So how is that a standard you hold CFOs in the private sector to, but you don't hold yourself to that same standard?
That's not a standard that the SEC holds CFOs to. It's about their financials and that the financials are put together in accordance with GAAP and that the numbers are accurate. And that they're
So did you accurately pay for the Steele dossier out of the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Sir, I learned about that way after President Trump was a president and Hillary Clinton was a private citizen.
All right, well, let's move on. We'll probably circle on that another time. I want to reference a story in Capital Account from June 13. Mr. Chairman, I ask for unanimous consent for the story be entered into the record.
Without objection.
The story notes that you met with Senator Tammy Baldwin in May about the SEC's proposal related to the 13D beneficial.
Okay, so we already heard this bit of it, but he was relentless, Jeff.
Oh my God. It's so great.
Just relentless. And he did not let up. He did not, he did not waver. And he kept hitting him on. He's like, sir. When he goes into that sir voice, he's lying through his teeth. Sir. And his demeanor is like, really?
You see his demeanor? He was scrunching down into his turtle shell.
Yeah.
He was a turtle. He felt scrunch. Defeated down into his chair. He knew
he got his ass.
He knew that, man. The only thing is, the next step for him would be jail time. When you get caught up in stuff like this.
Well, in other words,
little by little, they're going down.
So the funny part about this is he does get a little bit of disclosure. He says we don't know what happened to the money that was given to a law firm.
Right.
Oh, really? You don't know what happened to that. So what was the actual reason you were paying them then? What was the actual reason? For legal counsel? But you don't know why you were actually paying? So attorney firm, you're spending millions of dollars and you think you're paying for what exactly? What legal representation do you need? oh, the Steele dossier, right? So he doesn't know anything about that. It's so funny because every time he's inching closer and closer to the cliff, and it's all going to come out. I mean, it's going to come out. Someone's going to flip, and Gary Gensler's going down. And the funny thing, it won't be for his stupidity at the SEC or the CFTC, but because of his time as this chief financial officer during the campaign. It's incredible. Is pretty much.
Yeah.
So I have one more video here too, and this one is has to do with the XRPL, but this is Aaron McDonald, and he is the CEO of Futureverse, and this wasn't something recent. I think we wanted to play this for a while, and just kind of like one of those things that we just never did play. But I want to play this because I think this is really incredible the way he languages this. But let's listen into this.
Used to build a layer 2 on the XRP ledger.
One of the things about XRPL is that it's really simple. It does a few small things really well, which is great from a design perspective. That's what great user experiences are. They're really simple, well-executed things. But what that means is that you can't do things like smart contracts, for example.
Yeah.
And so when you start to get into a layer of applications and functionality that exist in these content ecosystems, in the metaverse, etc., with artificial intelligence, becomes hard to do that stuff on the ledger. And so what we do is we provide the connectivity to ledger so that you can take the best of the thing that XRPL does, which is transferring value from one place to another. And now you can do all of those smart things on the root network.
I thought that was pretty cool. Jeff, we got a special guest here.
We have a special guest joining us at this moment.
None other than, drum roll, please.
Wait.
Hang on, we gotta get the drum roll, Jeff. We don't have all day, Jeff. Let's look at the drum roll.
I gotta look for it. Here we go.
Do we have the drum roll?
Oh no, that's not it. Wait. Here we go.
Wait for it. I'm ready. Ready? And let's go. There he is. Boom. Jungle Ink. What's going on? Live on the chain. It's been a while, Jungle. It's been a couple of years here.
Yeah, it's been forever.
It's been a long time, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, I really appreciate having the opportunity to come on here and talk about Thurgood Marshall with you guys.
All right.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about. You know why? Because Congress paints with the broad brush. You know that, Jungle?
Yes, I've heard a few times.
Yeah. So, what did you think? What did you make of Gensler's testimony from what you heard?
I didn't really watch all of it. A little bit of it. I saw where the one congressman was saying this should be a pretty easy answer.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the guy every time. He just won't answer any questions. He has a couple Thurgood Marshall stories, a few broad brushes, and that's about it with the guy.
And he runs through the Howie contract, the investment. And I love Richie Torres hit him up on the investment contract. That was the best. He couldn't answer it. It's incredible. So what else is going on? And let's in the land of crypto, because I see you putting out tweets. I would say X posts. We got to say now. It's like we got to redefine it all. But you've been putting up some polls and stuff. What's been some of the stuff that you've connected to with the sentiment of the crypto community, and based on some of the answers of some of the X posts you put out there?
Everyone keeps yelling at me that I got to get HBAR, and then the newest one is this WazPay, and it's like a never-ending. I know there's a lot of great cryptos out there, but I put the poll up there. I figured HBAR would be a runaway, but I said, look, I can't buy them all, but tell me which one to buy, and I think HBAR won, but it was pretty narrow, so
yeah,
I'm gonna add a little bit of that. But there's a lot of great cryptos out there, and people are always telling me to check different things out. Casper's another one people tell me about. I do write them all down, and if I get the opportunity, I try to pick up a little bit, because I know people are gonna, just yell at me. We told you, you should have got some. And I've been there before. Yeah.
So if you were to look back to the early days of getting involved in crypto, and then fast forward to today, it seems like, things have changed so drastically. I remember the days listening to your podcast talking about, will XRP be listed on Coinbase? And how's that going to impact us, as far as the crypto community. And back then it seemed like it was all just, sunshine and rainbows and lollipops. We're just waiting for, the switch to be flipped. And now, now it's kind of warped into SEC, the chair of the SEC being grilled by Congress and lawsuits and all sorts of other things. What's your perception of how far we've come, recognition on a global stage at this point?
It's really changed a lot here. If we think back to the era we came from, it was a ton of Bitcoin forks and kind of random, proof of work networks, and yet you had XRP, and you look back to that era, and most things failed. But now we have some really compelling stuff out there. And the ones that stuck around, Cardano was around, but not really built out at that time. So it was tough. Like if you're going to go down through the list, but now I feel like, there are some really well-built systems that are going to continue forward, and you can, invest into those different things with confidence. But, it goes so quick, it's easy to miss that change. But it really, you remember you'd have like Pizza Coin or Weed Coin, and it was just nothing really there. And it's like night and day in just a few years from that era.
Those ERC20 tokens, they were cranking them out like fast as they could. There was also, if I recall, there was the Jungle token. Yeah, create a trust line, right? I remember that. How many were actually minted of the Jungle token?
I don't remember. My Rome burned half the supply on accident, and I lost the keys. So I don't have any Jungle coin myself. But for those of you out there, it's a little bit of a limited supply there.
It's a collector's edition. That would be the thing. It's like there's 21 Bitcoin ever, but maybe 4 to 5 million is lost. So we know that. But you want to know what's even rare? There's Jungle coin, and rarer than that even is Yeti coin, which is so rare and so elusive. No one's ever actually seen it. But somebody out there has it, and I bet you Danny Torres. I bet you she has. I'm gonna put her on the spot, but I wonder if she has any.
Well, I got to tell you guys, Jungle coin's not so rare because I issued it twice on XRP alone. The first time I did it, no one knew how to add trust lines, so that didn't work. There's a Jungle coin on Algorand, and maybe a couple. So there's lots of Jungle coins.
Talk about the original Jungle coin, though. I'm not talking about the, the knockoffs. I'm talking about the original.
The one you think of as original is probably the third. So
second, third. Who's keeping track? Really? I mean, it's all pretty good, right? So there's a proper party coming up on Friday night, and a lot of people in the community have been speculating, like, and half the community is like, what are we celebrating? Like, well, it was just July 13th that we found out that XRP wasn't a security. The other half of the community is like happy. The other half of the community is like ambivalent. And some were speculating that there's going to be a giant announcement. What's actually going to happen? Let's get Jungle's take on this. What's going to happen at the proper party on Friday?
Predictions.
I touched on this today in my video a little bit. Brad might have a surprise. Ripple might have a surprise for us, but I wouldn't expect that. I saw a headline that said, everyone's ready for this announcement. I'm like, unless I missed something, man, this is just a celebration. And it was a big moment for XRP holders, of course, for Ripple, the company, and for crypto at large. So, hey, if we're going to pop some bottles in Gary Gensler's face, that's just good enough a reason for me, I think.
In his face. By the way, Crypto Photo says WADS is going to drop more, so don't buy it. There you go. See, they're in the know. The thing I have with WADS Pay is the name. Like, really, like, weird. It just doesn't sound good. It's like, if you like a wad of gun, you like WADS, a wad of gum. It just sounds like something you stick on the back of like under a seat or something. It just doesn't sound pleasant. WADS Pay.
I don't know. People tell me it's good. Again, I got limited capital, so what am I going to do?
We all have. These days, I think everybody has limited capital with the prices of going up. It's insane.
As a purposeful action by the administration, they want to limit everybody's activities. So what do you think? So here we go. Where do we go from here? Where's the market going? Little jungleism. Where does XRP go? Where does Bitcoin go? And do you think NFTs are here to stay, or have they kind of seen their better days?
Well, I always got to preface this with, remember, I'm pretty much always wrong, at least with the good stuff. Sometimes you get the bad stuff wrong, but I'm still expecting some sort of turmoil ahead of us. Usually, the reason they're going to pivot is because they've set the world on fire. I think with the interest rates where they are, because the debt load is so high, and you have, a lot of corporate debt going to be refied next year, commercial real estate. I just see a lot of stuff that could drive us down temporarily. So personally, myself, I think we're going to see even further downwards pressure. But again, I'm wrong so often. I do dollar cost average even now, even though I believe it's going to go down. Because what if I'm wrong? And these are pretty compelling prices compared to where we were at the top. So I just play it, carefully, but try to keep some money on the sidelines in case we do get that big further sell off that I'm expecting. In terms of NFTs, I definitely think it's here to stay. I don't know what form. And all of crypto's kind of like that. We're kind of trying to figure out where it fits, where different capabilities actually will build out value. So I don't know if we'll have poop emojis forever. Hopefully we do, but it'll be here in some form, I feel.
Yeah, the Badass Yetis, speaking of which, they're coming out. The White Tribe's coming out shortly. I mean, we're almost there, and we have 1445 of those that are coming out, and we have the Blue Tribe that we dropped, which is on its way to being a sold out mint, and it was a lot of fun for us to embark on it, and then way more work than we expected. So it's like, no matter if you're going to do something like that, you can basically think about the time it's going to take and like multiply it by 10, and you're still nowhere there. So, but it was kind of cool to actually have a project and build on the XRPL, and Jeff and I waited for that. I don't know. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it's great to see some of the like XRP.cafe and some of the other XRP based because you think about it, a year ago now they didn't exist. So this is all pretty recent. It's like, and now you just expect to go to these sites. You see all kinds of mints happening. There's a lot of activity, but I don't know that we've seen the full extent of what NFTs can do, because I feel like, how we can tokenize it, what that will be ultimately, tied to. But yeah, I hope they kind of stick around for a little bit.
I'll add this. I was kind of making fun of the JPEG, casino we got going on, but I wouldn't be surprised when crypto heats up. I know you see a lot of stories out there. It's worthless now. I wouldn't be surprised to see NFTs similar to what we saw during the bull run take off again, partially because everyone's ignoring it. And, I'm sure it will get hot again, and there'll be some good opportunities there.
Yeah, I'm looking for utility. I'm looking forward to more development in the blockchain. Blockchain tech, tokenization of assets. I think that, like you just said, we haven't even witnessed exactly, the full capability or the full direction that we're moving in, just kind of testing things out. That's what's exciting about it, and it's, I look back, I think about how excited I was back in like 2017, the first time getting into crypto, listening to different podcasts, Jungle, listening to your podcast back in the day. And just, it was something so brand new and nobody knew exactly where it was going, and then, like I was saying earlier, I feel like it got so serious. We're kind of like in this serious mode now, and there's certain entities that are trying to destroy it. But you had referenced it, recently, also, that, the cat's kind of out of the bag, right? It's been embraced on a global stage, and it can't be put back at this point, and it's gaining a whole new life and excitement. It's really life altering. It's life changing.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be in this status forever. Government moves slow, especially ours, but they can only hold back so long. I think we'll start to kind of piece together regulations. They're going to break up those monster bills into parts and pieces, whether you go stable coins first or classification of security, whatever you do. But I think we'll start making some progress, just because it's going to force their hand. They're going to have to. And, things like ETFs are going to be coming out. I know we've been hearing for years, oh, it's coming. But, you get BlackRock's, Fidelities, they're going to get their way. It's just a matter of time. We already won. It's just a waiting game at this point.
A good point.
Yeah, the ETF is going to be a game changer. I think the ETF, especially, it makes scarce. Think about if there's 7, 8, 9, 10 ETFs going at the same time, you think about what they're going to have to have available as a holding, and then you have all the other private holders. I think it's going to really drive the price up. It certainly could drive the price up, and I think we'll probably see 70 to 100,000 probably by 25. But a lot of it depends on what happens, especially on the macroeconomic side of it, and what happens geopolitically, because it seems like some people are trying to burn the entire world down with their nonsense, their CBDCs and their control and all that's nonsense that's come after. Where do you think the next couple of years are going to go? Like, where do you see us evolving as blockchain or voting blockchain, or maybe the first country to implement a decentralized, autonomous, more like a DAO, where the true people, everybody has one vote. It's all on the blockchain. We don't need reps anymore.
Yeah, I think you just hit the nail on the head. That is going to happen. How long that takes, I don't know. I was investigating this guy that I felt was I would call him a person of interest to be Satoshi, and that's what he worked on were kind of blockchain style voting solutions and electronic voting solutions, things like that. I just feel that we're going to get practical application here of crypto soon, where you're not doing this because you want to make money. You're using that app because it does a task well and better than you could before, and you might not even know or care the back end is blockchain. I think that's really the next step and what's going to drive a lot of adoption. And I do think like ETFs and things like that, even though we're enthusiasts and we don't use those products as much, I think it's going to be mandatory. It's just dangerous to hold crypto directly. You look at me, I was SimSwap because I'm involved in crypto. I don't know if you've seen in the news, there's been a lot of home invasions because people knew, hey, they got crypto, let's invade their house. There's an element of danger there that big money's probably not going to stuff multiple millions on a Ledger Nano and put it under their pillow. It's just not acceptable. They need a product like an ETF in order to really jump in here. So I definitely think that's important as well.
That's a solid point. You're referencing kind of what it's going to take for Main Street adoption. And it's something that Chip and I talk about often, that nobody cares about the technology that's powering things. It doesn't, you get into your car, you start your car, do people really think about how, the engine is working, the pistons firing, all the, chips that it takes to communicate, to operate the car? It's the same thing moving money. And it's really the same, in order for Main Street to get into the crypto space, we do have to get away from the ledgers. We have to get away from, keys. And there's all these elements to the crypto that is too complex for Main Street to get involved. And that's a really solid point. At the moment, the big institutions get in with the ETFs. That's probably the switch, whatever that point is going to be when they feel that it's right. They've got, and we're starting to see little inklings of it. The institutions want to be there. Banks actually do want to be there. And so we're starting to see that migration. We see countries around the world that are looking on how they can get into blockchain. We see people around the world that are running away from banks, trying to get into crypto, and it's still difficult. Here we sit and we're still talking about wallets and exchanges, and there's still this level of complexity. I don't think I could easily explain crypto to my parents and say, hey, here's how crypto is functioning, here's how you're gonna have to do it. And Chip and I reference that a lot. It's like, hey, you got to go, and if you're trying to move, it used to be a lot more difficult. If you wanted XRP, you had to go buy Bitcoin, then you had to send it off to Chip changed the
sorry, I was trying to
change the layout, where you had to, move it over to like a Bitstamp, and then you can get your XRP. And so you're moving so many currencies to try to, but that's still a reality today. There's still certain currencies you can only buy. And then there's this illusion, I don't want to say illusion, but there's a sense that when you go to like a Bitrue or, some of these other exchanges where you start having more of a financial feel to it. And Coinbase is getting into, the staking and, then all these different things going on, which is great, because that's the real world application of where we can go, It's just the big boys aren't there yet. And it's when is that going to happen? The ETF, to your point, that is a big turning point.
Yeah, I think that in regulations, because look, if you're a big business, if you're a builder, if you're an investor, and we're talking about big money, you don't want Gary Gensler coming out of nowhere, that's a cool hat, man, taking you to court, wasting years of your life and hundreds of millions of dollars. I think that's when you get that clarity, people know what you can and can't do, and I expect the U.S. will be a little more restrictive than other territories, but you're going to see big money flow in. Your creative people will be making blockchain apps and not iPhone or Android apps, things like that. So we're getting darn close. It's just seems like we've been saying that for years, but I really feel we're on the cusp there.
You got a question here from OG. Look at this. It's an OG night here today. We have Danny Torres, Anthony Ajax Jackson here, but Anthony's saying, what are the panel's thoughts on XRP's newest partnership with FOMO-Pay? Jungle, Jeff, Chip. You know anything about that, Jungle?
Well, AJ sent this to me earlier, and he wanted my opinion. He said, well, which one of these companies are more prolific that are working with Ripple? And it was, I'm trying to find the list here quickly, but it was FOMO-Pay and I can't even remember the other obscure partners he brought up, but he was making fun of that company essentially.
Word FOMO. It's a great name for FOMO-Pay. Like you could have FOMO-Pay, BS Pay, you could have Shitter Pay. I mean, it could all be all kinds of them, right? What's the list?
AJ asked me.
Great idea.
Which one is more compelling? The heavy hitter Euro XM, Mercury FX, SendFriend, or FOMO-Pay?
Didn't SendFriend transition to a
what is it now?
It's not SendFriend. Remember we did that story. They were acquired, or they're some other name now. So that's like an older list, though, I think that's a new list. Not that I'm sure, but
FOMO payments, FOMO payment, FOMO iBank, and FOMO crypto. It's interesting. Let's see the about us. This is the first. I haven't heard of. This is the first I've heard of FOMO-Pay.
I don't know anything about FOMO-Pay, to be honest with you. I don't know. So I don't have an opinion on it. All I know is I got a cool ass bucket hat. What do you think? I got this bucket hat when I went to the Ripple. What was it called? Ripple House, which was actually on a yacht up off West Palm Beach. And here I thought this massive yacht. We were told it's going to set sail. It's going to set sail. And then it never left the dock. So, but I did get to meet Brad Garlinghouse and hang out with him for about 10 minutes. Early, I got there pretty early, and then I said, let me go talk to him, because if I don't talk to him now, I'll never. And then maybe like an hour later, I never saw him on the boat again. Probably just bailed on him. But can you imagine how they're going to get mobbed on this proper party? It's going to be insane.
Man, I wish I could go. I got to work. I would love to go to one of these events. We can. I'll tell you this: we can laugh a little bit about FOMO-Pay and SendFriends, but I'm sure back in the day people laughed at this. What's a stupid company, Google and Amazon and stuff like that. So you got to be a little bit careful with writing all this stuff off just because it's not a known household name.
Yeah, WadsPay too. Yeah. They got they're solid. I mean, I've looked at WadsPay. I just thought the name wasn't so fitting. But who thought Yahoo or, like you said, Google or anything else, right? I mean, SpaceX. Like, what is it? Well, we're gonna take a rocket. We're gonna blast it off. We're gonna land it back on the pad. And we're like, good luck. You're never gonna do that. It's never gonna happen. And then they did. So.
Well, there's nothing comical about FOMO-Pay here, guys. You've got
there's nothing wrong with it.
Got TWJ, Jumbo Food, Holiday Inn, Singapore Airlines.
It's just like the whole fear of missing out. Fear of missing out pay. It's like kind of they're having a little bit of fun with it, but they're pioneering.
I think so. It's an interesting name. Yeah, it's in Asia. It's an Asian company over in Singapore. They got FOMO Payments, FOMO iBank, and FOMO Crypto.
There you have it. You've got the whole list.
Trying to facilitate your business transactions efficiently. Multi-currency virtual accounts.
Look how AJ just took the show in a different direction. It's like that's what usually happens with the live shows. Is we have a plan. We have a thing we're going to talk about, and then we talk about maybe a quarter of it, and then the chat drives the rest of it. So.
Look at that corporate wallet address, FOMO Crypto, and you get settlement.
Let's talk about something important, Jeff.
Works.
Talk about
I'm just
something
like
important.
enamored by this FOMO pay. There we go.
Let's
Let's talk
something
about the
important. There
white
we go.
tribe.
So we got the white
Jungle,
tribe right there.
it took so much effort putting this tribe together. And then
Yeah, these are the Guardians right here. We've got the Tempests, got the Brutes, got that little furloughed brow right there. Got the Ash Yetis, dirty little gremlins, and then we've got the Fire Yetis. Like, these guys can throw fire. Got the little Prowlers. They look cute, but I wouldn't get one-on-one with these guys. Then the Elders, only 7 in total. The Elders are they're massive badasses.
the
Got
elders. So the blue tribe didn't have elders. And there's a whole backstory to that. The white tribe, the black tribe, and the purple tribe will have elders. But this is the first the elders have made their presence, and they're really impressive. The Prowlers.
There's the Ass Kickers, the Yuck Yucks, little comic relief, and then the Bandits.
Are these all sold out?
No, these are about to
We
go on
haven't even
sale.
minted these yet,
Yeah, we haven't minted them yet. But the
what is it going to run? What's it going to run me to get one of these guys? How much are these things?
Well, we haven't settled in on a price of these, but I can tell you if you come here, Badass Yetis. If you go to what is it? Why isn't that populated, Jeff?
Badass. There they are. So if you go to the XRP.cafe, search up the Badass Yetis, you'll find the first of them, which is the blue tribe.
Yeah, these are 125 to mint, and these are secondary market ones, but these are some of the blue tribe members. They're a lot more rare. There's only 589 of these, and this one's listed for 58,900 XRP. So there you go.
I'm not going to buy that one, but I'll tell you what, I might come on here and buy one of those ones there at the top for AJ. I think he needs a badass Yeti. So I'm going to go ahead and get him one of those.
Definitely needs a badass Yeti. Or you can buy one there that's already minted, or you can go and mint a brand new one.
Because you get this one, you can buy this one for 85 because it's 125 is the mint price, but somebody's trying to offload this one for 85.
That's a deal right
this
there.
one. The nice thing about that too is if you do like one of these, you go like, oh, I like this one. This one's cool, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
I know Rain just bought one. Rain just got a badass Yeti the other day, so that's kind of cool. But yeah,
this was a super exciting project to put together. When we put that, the first foray into putting NFTs, the project, and learning all the back end that goes into actually getting it to the minting process was an eye opener. The efforts that we go through, and it's interesting because the XRP.cafe uses 2 drives to house the images and to help put this whole thing together. And we used AR drive, and AR drive uses an asset. So you have to go to Bitrue and buy the AR token, move the AR token to your wallet over on the AR drive. And so there's a bit of a price. It was exciting.
All of these have original names. So, and they like this one here, Skid Bladnir. So it even has the pronunciation on them. Skuldy, Schooldy, Schooled, Scoogy. So we had to put the pronunciations because some of them are missing vowels. But you can, if you click on this little tab over here, you can see the different kind of backgrounds. If you want to see Mountain One, you can see that. If you want to just look at the Templars, you can click on this and you'll see the Templars or the Frostbeards. Yeah, so there's the Frostbeards and
Mentalists.
Pathfinders. Yeah, the Mentalist went over pretty well. The Mentalist, a lot of people like the Mentalists. Got the big ass heads.
This is cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Big ass Mentalists.
Yeah,
AJ would love one. Yeah, make sure AJ has a Zum wallet, and that's how you would do it.
Yeah, you get the Zum wallet connected up to the XRP.cafe, and so when we get the White Tribe, Chip and I are actually working on another project already, another NFT.
We got the fever, Joe. We got the fever.
We're stoked about that. The next one is going to be really exciting. Also, in that this one's exciting, but it's going to be a little departure from the Yeti. So we're happy, happy about trying different
No
approaches,
way.
different things. It's amazing. And then once we get that one going, then we're going to come back and we'll get the I think the Purple Tribe is next, I believe.
Yeah, purple, then black, and then we'll be, and also too, so for the upcoming conference in Australia, the Gold
right.
Coast conference, XRPL. So it's so funny is like, so in the Himalayas, they call it the Yeti. In the US, we call it Bigfoot or Sasquatch. But in Australia, they call it the Yowie. So we're going to do a special edition Yowie for this conference. It'll also be NFT gated,
Yeah.
which I wish Ripple would have done, but it'll be NFT gated. So you have the NFT, will be admittance to certain, events. The X-Punks just did that over there in the Netherlands. They had a big party and it was NFT gated. So you had to have your NFT for, to get into the like the after party type of thing. So
Yeah,
but
that
man,
really would have been cool if Ripple would have, used that for their tickets to the event or something like that. Maybe they didn't have time. I don't know.
well, it was only a month. I mean, they literally just announced it 1 month ago. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity for people to really plan. I mean, it was like a month. If you're going to travel somewhere, you want to at least have 2 or 3 heads up, months of heads up time. But
Right, but it's not like they have any tech people, sitting around working on any projects.
no,
They don't have access to that kind of
a sloppy website, third-party website.
they don't
That
have
lets anybody
they don't have any of
anybody
that kind
fill
of
out a
talent.
form. But then when you get to the thing, you got to make sure that that matches. That's when they care. It's like, wait a minute, are you this person? Wait, I'm just some random, some random brave kid from New York that heard about a party. You ever heard of Ripple? I don't know who Ripple is. What's XRP? I don't know. I was imagining at one point that all the Bitcoin maxis, as soon as that thing dropped, they'll be walking around like Bitcoin rules, big orange shirts with Bitcoin on it, just to come troll, the
Max
XRP
Kaiser and all
community.
his buddies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You think
And by the
BitBoy's
way,
gonna be
what's that,
Didn't
Jeff?
hear that.
BitBoy?
Yeah, I was
Is
going to say
Bit-
Bitcoin is burning down. I don't know what's going on with him, but he apparently is not under the counsel of an attorney because he doesn't show at someone's house. So a Lamborghini that wasn't his control, Junk, I've been laughing at your tweets about that too, but that's what I'd like to know. It's like, wait a minute, you don't have this. You put a tweet out. Talk about the tweet that you were trying to understand where the problem was with BitBoy.
Well, I really don't understand because he had all these partners. I get like I start sweating when I look at his 50 employees, like thinking about having to pay all these people. And so he gets rid of the employees.
Yeah.
He gets rid of his partners that he had to split money with. And now it's just the same and he's getting pretty much the same views. So he just like basically took his whole business with him and he gets to keep all the money. And I mean, I hope he didn't buy that car. I'm sure they took that back and now he's relieved of a lease payment on a Lamborghini. Like to me, all of that is a win for him.
Right.
And I don't get it. Some of it might just be stirring up stuff for he's good at that, views and things of that nature. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, look, it's amazing. The Discovery Crypto has like 400 concurrent viewers with 1 million subscribers. He's on his first week of streaming, getting 10x that one he's streaming. So, I think it's pretty much a win across the board for him. Even though that kind of stuff, I get it. It takes time to build up those cash flows. He's BitBoy wherever he wants to stream from. So I don't think it's anything to be upset about.
That's the best point that anybody really kind of brought up. I was like, you're right. I mean, like who wants that? Anytime you've had employees, you have to make payroll, and a lot of times people think, oh, you're the owner of a company, you make the most money. Well, not in the down times when you don't take a paycheck for 6 or 7 weeks, and some of the people that work there make more money than you. I remember I had a company where people are like, oh, you're the owner. I'm like, well, if you only knew that I make less than you do, because you're growing a business and you're trying to make something happen. So it's part of the rub. But anyway, we ran 15 minutes over today.
We did.
But thank you, because Jungle, special time for coming on here, and great to have you, man. I can't remember the last time you were on. It's been at least a couple years, so thanks for the impromptu. It's like, hey, coming on.
Get David on here, and I want to corner him so he can't evade me online and talk about some of these issues with validators and Ripple holding up votes. And by the way, I think these are good. I think these are good. It's just, every system's a little bit different. It's all design choices. Yep. And I think sometimes we dance around that because we use this catchphrase for everything, decentralization, and nothing's perfectly decentralized, and every design's a little bit different. We don't have to tap dance around some of these issues. So we need to get David on here. I want to not debate. The guy's going to crush me in a debate. I want him to answer my questions.
Well, listen, let's put a campaign together. Let's get everybody here that the three of us will get David on here. It'd be great because it'll be 4 perfect screens and we'll be able to talk to him. I'm going to see if anybody, because I know a lot of people have asked him to come on the show, but he just doesn't, I don't know. He doesn't, the best way that I can get him to not, to be quiet, like if I've gone back and forth with him and argue with him on something, the best way to shut him up is go like, hey, come on the show. Never hear from, then silence, right? It's like, never hear from the guy again. Like, hey, you want to come on the show and talk about it? Like, nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. It's like, but
has he gone on anybody's show? Has he
went on something called Pork and Beans or Bitcoin and Beans or some goofy show?
That's right.
He was on these weird shows, and like he went on. I know he's been on with the Bad Crypto guys, and Bad Crypto guys have been here. We've been on their show, but for some reason they were just hammering him all the time about it's a banker's coin. It's not these, and he likes the challenge of that, but. Some of our politics don't play so well together, but I'm like, so what? We don't. Listen, we'll give you the questions ahead of time.
That's what makes it fun. He's not that guy. He doesn't need the questions. He should be like an open book. He should just come in here and have fun.
Let's do that. Let's get a campaign going. He interacts with you a lot, Jungle. Okay, come on the chain.
That'd be good.
4 of us will get together. We'll have a conversation. It'll be we'll have some fun too. Have a couple laughs. He's a great joke teller. He's been telling us great jokes.
Yeah,
it's really obscure when he'll interact with me. He'll ghost me forever, and then the weirdest thing, he'll just start like going back and forth with me.
Isn't that funny though? It's like you can't predict it like that. He's unpredictable, man. He's a genius.
Yeah,
an unpredictable genius.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you having me on, and we'll have to get AJ one of those Yetis. Maybe you guys can come on and when you launch the next one, come on my channel and we'll talk about it.
Oh, hell yeah. We'd love to do that.
Yeah, we'd love to do that. That'd be awesome.
By the way, if anybody doesn't know, On the Chain launched on Jungle's channel. So the very announcement was Jungle's channel. So that's like that's going back to the very beginning days. So to actually go on and talk about a project we did. Wow. What an evolution, man. That would be awesome. So from launching to getting on talking about an NFT project. But yeah, I'd love to get on there and talk about it.
Be sweet.
All right.
That's all we have, guys. So well, don't go anywhere yet. Hang on. Don't be bailing yet, Jungle. But I just wanted to say, I'll give you the last word, and then Jeff, then we'll end the show. But last word.
Oh, me?
You're Jungle. You have to say the last words.
Well, I don't have a lot of words. Just we know where we're going, and just hang in there. There's another side of this, whether it's a month, a year, or whatever. We're going to be off and rocking, and that's all I got.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. We're gonna end it, but then we'll be backstage with you in 2 seconds. Everybody, Jungle, Chip, Jeff, out. See you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.